We had Colonel Richard Kemp on yesterday and again today, and he has suggested, and it's a suggestion that has gained a lot of traction with a lot of our viewers. Steve Howe, who we spoke to yesterday on the programme, lost his wife in the bombing on Monday evening, and he very much was looking at trying to come up with a solution that isn't just about suggesting our Muslim community could do more, or this terror watch list, and we can assess the threat from the various people on the terror watch list. And what Colonel Richard Kemp was saying, that we should round up the 3,000 people on this watch list. If they aren't British nationals, they should just be deported. If British nationals have gone abroad to fight for ISIS, they shouldn't be allowed back in the country. If we've got British nationals that are on the interest list, they should be put away somewhere so we can consider all of that intelligence in a place where they can't do any more damage. Our viewers, to a man and a woman, absolutely agree with him that something as blunt as that needs to be done. Is that a possibility? Is that something that you feasibly could see happening?
Well, first of all, some of those measures we do. We do remove people's citizenships, we remove their passports, often when they're abroad, if they're out in the Middle East, to make sure they can't come back, and we do that in a considerable number of cases. But let's be clear, something like 65 or 70% of the terrorist attacks since 1998 have involved British citizens. And the biggest challenge we face, and we made a big mistake about this in the 1970s in Northern Ireland, is, as you've rightly said, you know, this individual who did this on Tuesday is not a Muslim. He is twisted. And, you know, we need to keep our communities on side. And if we don't produce evidence or act within the rule of law and just start rounding people up and putting them in what you'd call internment camps, what we found in Northern Ireland was the community felt that they were under persecution and stopped engaging with the police and stopped engaging with the intelligence services, and that set us back probably 20 years in counter-terrorism. Good counter-terrorism is about the community. That's why we've got the Prevent programme. It's why we've got lots of local community groups. You know, I know in Lancashire, where I represent, you know, we have good relations with the police, with our ethnic minority communities, but also we have to deal with the far right as well that is growing in this country. And if we start just scooping people up and putting them away, what are their families and other people to think if it turns out, as they were in internment, a huge number of people had nothing to do with it whatsoever? And that's the big challenge here, which is intelligence is not always evidence. And that, you know, we have to convict people in courts of law, and intelligence can be as thin as someone ringing up and being suspicious, which is absolutely good, and we try and act on that all the time, but it is not evidence. And I think, you know, that's the society we live in, which is the, you know, the rule of law. And I think it would actually have a retrograde step if we just scooped up loads of people because of, let's say, the ISIS threat. The majority of those people we know would probably come from, you know, Muslim communities, because at the moment that the ISIS threat is that. Or if I was doing dissident Republicans, I scooped up a whole lot of nationalist community. That would actually turn communities against us, and we would not, our police would not want that. And I think that, you know, if you ask a policeman, don't ask a minister what he thinks of that idea, a policeman or policewoman will say that's a bad idea.